Hello, my name is Kieran Dillon, project developer at ACCIONA Energia, and I'm here to present the Aldoga Solar Farm project to the Connecting Renewable Energy Conference. Okay, before I get into the details of the project, I'll just talk about ACCIONA Energia a little bit. ACCIONA Energia is a leading developer of renewable energy globally, with over 12 gigawatts of capacity and operational under construction. We currently have operations in around 20 countries, and we only invest in clean energy technologies. And our asset portfolio includes wind, solar PV, biomass, and hydro. Since 2015, we've been ranked #1 in the top 100 green utilities by Energy Intelligence, which rates electricity companies for their CO2 emissions and renewables capacity. We're a vertically integrated company doing everything from finding sites to operating assets, with everything in between in the value chain. We have proven delivery capabilities with the level of megawatts or gigawatts, in this case, deployed globally. And we have large corporate energy users purchasing energy from our assets. We have a strong market capitalization and significant ability to fund further development in Australia and across the globe. In Australia, we currently have around 437.5 megawatts in operation, mainly wind assets. In construction, we have around over 1,000 megawatts being built as we speak, and the majority of that capacity is with the McIntyre wind farm in Queensland, close to Warwick, the southern border of Queensland. And following up, we have a development pipeline of around 1,500 megawatts of wind and solar projects in and around the NEM, the National Electricity Market, and also, to add to that, a growing pipeline in Western Australia. So I'll just move to the Aldoga site itself. So the Aldoga site is approximately 15 kilometers northwest of Gladstone. It's currently around 1,900 hectares of land that we have secured within the Gladstone State Development Area. So in 2017, Economic Development Queensland, a state department, issued an expression of interest for renewable energy developers to develop a renewable energy project. Specifically, there's a preference for a solar project within the GSDA. ACCIONA was successful in that process. We secured the land in 2018, and since then we've got all state permits, and we've almost completed our federal permit process for the solar farm that we are going to build within the site. It's a good site for a solar farm. It has a on-site connection point at 275 kV and 132 kV. It is a land. It's a flat land. It's a flat piece of land, sorry, with some hills of vegetation. It's currently used for agriculture, but very constructible site with good access and plenty of space and opportunity to deploy solar panels. The project itself has a maximum land capacity of around 600 megawatt peak. That's around 1.1 million solar PV modules. That equates to about, at the moment, $500 million Aussie dollars of project value. Typically, 70% of the capex of a solar farm is key equipment, solar panels, inverters, and mounting structures, and around 30% is balance of plant, which is electrical packages, it's civils packages, and other ancillary packages that go into the preparation, construction, and then operation of a solar farm. We think the project approximately will lead to 400 construction jobs and around 20 operational jobs. There'll be opportunities for local services in and around Gladstone because of the construction workforce that will be in the area. We're looking for a skilled workforce. There'll We think a project of this scale will take around 2 years to construct, including the time to connect and commission the project to the grid, and there'd be about 30 years of operational works. As I mentioned earlier in the presentation, ACCIONA really does everything through the whole renewable energy value chain, from project development to the asset management and the sale of the energy from the assets that we design and construct. We do EPC in some instances where it works for us. So we do look at the project, work out what's best for project, and then make a decision as to how we're going to deliver internally. But we have the ability to construct and design the projects ourselves. But we definitely don't close the door on opportunities for local suppliers, particularly in Australia and particularly with solar. And given the fact that we are a open, accessible company with many personnel and expertise working daily on projects, it gives an opportunity for the local supply chain to establish a relationship with us, keep up to date on the project, and then ultimately build a relationship with us for when we come to contract for services on the project. I think that the contracting opportunities for Aldoga lie for the local supply chain, lie mainly in the electrical balance of plant and civils balance of plant packages. So from the electrical side, trenching, cable laying, cable jointing. From the civil side, earthworks, labour hire, vehicle and plant hire, concrete supply, and then other ancillary services like waste management, fencing, catering, PPE. These services are likely to be subcontracted by us or an EPC that would come in and build the project. So I think that these are the services that the Aldoga project will require. In terms of timeframes for contracting and constructing, then we're looking to have a to kick off procurement and contracting middle to Q3, Q4 2023 next year, and that's when we'd probably have a construction program to communicate to the local supply chain. For context, I've just got a few slides now on renewables in Australia, just to demonstrate how it's a growth market. You'll see one graph and one table, which demonstrate that installed wind capacity in Australia has increased significantly year on year from 2016, and you'll see from 2017 there's been a big jump in solar installed capacity in Australia. Demonstrates that renewables are growing, and for the local supply chain EPC market, that's good news. Mordor Intelligence expect the EPC power market to witness a growth of around 6 to 7% year on year from 22 to 27, and renewables are expected to drive the majority of that growth. That growth is really backed by the cost of renewables per unit of energy compared to thermal alternatives. You'll see that wind and solar PV are much cheaper now than coal and gas. So when it comes to building new forms of electricity generation, which Australia requires, particularly as the coal fleet is being decommissioned and early closures are being announced, then it would appear that wind and solar PV are part of that mix of technologies that's required to replace coal in Australia. Queensland has a installed generation capacity of around 15,500 megawatts and a target for 50% of that generation to be renewable. So at the moment, there's a shortfall of around 5,270 megawatts if you do the maths, and then if you consider potential coal exits, then there may well be a increased demand for renewables in Queensland in the future. The Queensland state is putting policies into action to stimulate renewables. Key initiatives include money to support renewable energy zones, Gladstone being a prime candidate for a renewable energy zone. It's within the Fitzroy Renewable Energy Zone that's already on paper, and it obviously has great attributes for renewable energy. The state has a 50% renewable energy target. At the moment, 16.6% of the total generation capacity is being provided by renewables. And also it has big hydrogen plans. It's announced the $2 billion Queensland Renewable Energy and Hydrogen Jobs Fund, which is a fund for government-owned corporations to invest in renewable energy and green hydrogen. And again, Gladstone's a big focus for hydrogen proponents and potentially monies from that fund to go into projects, lots of really exciting projects that are being announced. As I mentioned, Gladstone is a big focus for renewables, particularly green hydrogen, because of the port capacity, because of the existing human and physical infrastructure going into Gladstone, which is a legacy, obviously, of previous industry, existing industry, sorry. ACCIONA Energia ourselves signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Stanwell Corporation in December 2021 to look at supplying energy from the Aldoga project to Stanwell Corporation's proposed hydrogen project, which is in Gladstone. So that's a really exciting project that we're working with Stanwell on to understand if we can supply solar power behind the meter. And behind the meter is supplying it not through the grid. As I mentioned before, yeah, lots of papers, plans, strategies surrounding hydrogen and on green hydrogen in Gladstone, and also surrounding the renewable energy zone in Fitzroy, of which Gladstone is located. ACCIONA Energia does a lot of work in Queensland, a lot of work with state government, and we're very familiar with Queensland state procurement policies. So that policy is well known to us. It was part of our submission and successful outcome in the Queensland Renewables 400 process. So we built up a good database of contractors within the local supply chain for McIntyre, and that's something we'll be looking to replicate for Aldoga. ACCIONA has a wide stakeholder base when we develop our projects, and we deal with not just the local supply chain, we deal with the community and universities and educational facilities to look at how projects and ACCIONA Energia can support initiatives that are important to local institutions and communities. For instance, we've partnered with Deakin University on the World Solar Challenge, looking at drone and virtual reality technology. We've looked at supporting solar-powered vehicles and races across Australia. So very interesting, exciting things. So any smart ideas that are within a region or within a locality, we'll be keen to look at them and understand them and see how we can support them. The McIntyre wind farm is going to deliver around $2.5 million in financial contributions to the local communities, going to program events initiatives over the first 10 years of the project. We are very keen to understand how we can support the Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander community within localities through our projects, whether it being programs for skill training, direct employment, and obviously going through the cultural heritage process that we are required to when we do the development of our projects. Innovation, any smart ideas, as I mentioned, that exist within universities, communities, engineering companies. We are keen to explore and understand them. And we do have a research and development department in Spain that runs annual funding competitions, and also, yeah, there's the opportunity for bilateral discussion. We're open to any conversation surrounding renewables, and we know Australia has a great tradition of education and university initiatives and development. So keen to understand what's happening there. The last slide is just a number of metrics surrounding the Aldoga project in terms of the social, economic, and environmental impact. So that's a sheet of information that gives an idea of the direct and indirect benefits of the Aldoga Solar project. Okay, before I finish, the final slide just has a list of email addresses to contact us on. If you are looking to register your skills and services, then you can go directly to our procurement email. If you're looking to understand about employment opportunities, then we have an employment channel. Project information is on the website, and there's also an interactive community engagement and registration platform for local suppliers, which is the address on the final bullet point there. So I'll make sure these slides go to the Connecting Renewable Energy Conference representatives, and I hope to hear from you soon regarding the project. Thank you for listening.